Shalom. Just want to make another targeted individual video this morning, and for you who speak about these things, I didn't mention it, but yesterday when I was just happened to be turning on the computer, I looked at the section where it said the time and the date, and right when I looked at it, it popped up. It said 11/11. So, you know, I wasn't one to always be talking about those type of things, but it happened, so I just mentioned it. So, in the meantime, speaking about those who they dub targeted individuals, most people say that this man in general, man, woman, when I say man and woman, you know, man and woman, just say man to include everybody. They say man is a spiritual being having a natural experience. But for those who they say are targeted individuals, I say, and I'm gonna say we from the standpoint of, you know, us having that experience. You know, because I don't claim myself to be I'm free. But just for the sake of this video, I say we, because I say we are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience in front of people having a natural experience. And what I mean by it is that all these spiritual things that we see and go through, the people having a natural experience can't see it. Then, so because most of us have these incredible experiences, the people that's having a natural experience can't understand what we're talking about. So I could ignore them, because, you know, whenever you tell a targeted individual story, the gang stalkers, they don't want to get left out. So I'm not going to leave them out. I came here and sat down, according to their time, at 7:51 a.m. When I first sat down, there was no activity going on, not anything like that. Now all of a sudden, you know, now the distractions happen. So they're always around. I'm going to make another video about another thought I was given as well. So, by having a spiritual, me being a spiritual being, having a spiritual experience in front of natural beings, or natural people having natural experiences, some of the stories that targeted individuals tell are definitely true, but they're a little bit too much sometimes for people who don't have an experience to understand what we're saying. So I'll tell a story like this, like I've heard a story before that's true, but some people who don't have spiritual eyes can't see the truth in the story. So the man who told the story said it's something like this. I know a man, whether in the body or out of the body, I cannot tell, who was a spiritual being having a spiritual experience in front of natural beings, having natural experiences. And this man, from a young child, experienced things that seemed out of a fairy tale. Have you ever watched the movie, it's like Hercules, Poseidon, what's that movie? Clash of the Titans and all these type of things where these demagogues, basically the sons of gods. But this man, even from a child, was literally contacted by the Most Highest Elo. How did he know? Because this most highest supreme being spoke to him like I'm speaking right now. I don't know if anybody else could have heard it. But this most supreme, most highest being, who most people call God. The Israelites call him different things. We call him Yehovah, Yahweh, different terms. But this one supreme being, the reason I knew it was him because he let me know who he was, and he said he used a personal pronoun, I believe. He said I, because this man told the story before when he said that when he was a young boy, he used to worship this idol that was painted on a picture. And then one day this supreme being told him to get up off his knees because it was not him. He said, it's not me. So, by telling the story of this man who was in the body, out of the body, that I cannot tell, these people and things around him, because some people are people, but most things that happened around him was other spiritual beings that looked like people. People telling stories and saying things that this man, when he was a younger man, did not understand what was going on around him. But then you'd have these beings that would come in from different sides. You have the good ones that would come in and inspire and look out for him. Then the other side that come in and lie and deceive and try to entrap him and different things like that. So, even because he didn't know, a lot of times these other side, these bad side beings would come and use things to lure him that he desired, that was his weakness as far as things that was in his flesh, like women and different things like that. But despite of, there's a scripture says that the Most High delivers his children out of all of those things. Somehow he was always delivered out of them things. And then one man even asked him one time, he said, man, how did you get out of all that stuff? Because that supreme being who had spoke to him when he was young, basically told him, he was his son. This man told a story one time how he was at Popeye's Chicken, and not, he wasn't chasing after no chicken sandwiches or nothing like that. He was just at Popeye's Chicken at the drive-thru. This other man walked up. This man appeared to be what we call today Caucasian or European, but he looked like another character of what they call a demigod, and He's in actually this character is in Marvel Comics and he's part of the Avengers. Because he had what really appeared to be Goldilocks. Now, I'm not talking about the other. I'm not talking about the bad brother, but this one is the hero in the Avengers. And when I was at Popeye's Chicken, I was at the drive-thru and I was ordering some chicken. And this character who popped up, that appeared to be out of nowhere, said, "Do you have $5 that I can get home?" You know, at the time, you know, like I said, I didn't know anything about currency and fiat and all those type of things. So I said, "Yeah, I got $5." So I gave it to him. But somehow, something came over me. I said, "Here you go, Angel." Gave it to him. And then I drove like maybe a couple of inches past the intercom speaker from the Popeye's Chicken. I looked back and the man was gone. And there's no way that he could have disappeared like that quick. Then, oh, did I say I? I didn't mean to say I. I'm talking about the man in the story. Anyway, one time this man was with his cousin, and the man told this story as well. The man was with his cousin, and they went to this pizza place in this place called Los Angeles. And at this place, there was like this little shopping center, but then down the side of the street, it was nothing but a long row of factories. So nobody could have turned in because there was nowhere to turn into. You know, you couldn't walk inside of anything. It was just a straight path straight down the side of the street that you couldn't turn into anything. So you had to keep going. So this man who was walking down the street, he turns into the shopping center where we were at. No, did I say we? I didn't mean to say we. The man in the story, who was in the body or out of the body, I can't tell. But he looked like what they would call someone, let's say someone less fortunate, because he had bundles of clothes on. He looked, but yet and still, besides all of that, he looked regal or royal, like he was in disguise as something else. And he had these long curly fingernails. And when he walked past the car, that's what I called it at the time, it was a car. And this was years back. Me and my cousin, because we never got a chance to get out of the car at the time to go inside of the pizza place to order the pizza. He came by, looked in the car like that, and kept walking, walked around because it was a little short shopping center. Turned around, came back, stopped in front of the car, looked at me like this, and then walked around the corner. Me and my cousin looked at each other, hopped out the car, and ran to the street. He was gone. Just say me and my cousin. I'm talking about the man in the story who was in the body, out of the body, I could not tell. Okay, just clearing that up. Alright, so another story. I'm not going to be too long in this video. This man had went to this local store with this young lady. And what I guess appears to be a young lady, because in the story, the man who's in the body, out of body, I cannot tell. This woman told him that she was going to disappear. So, as the story goes, this man who was in the body, out of body, that I cannot tell, walked inside of this store with her. They were walking around and looking at different items, and she picking up things like that. Then, at one moment, she was right by his side. He turns away just for a second. Then he turned back to speak to her, and she was gone. This man walked all around the store looking for her, because she came with him. So he didn't want to leave her. But she literally had disappeared. He walked all around the store, basically every inch of it. Walked outside, couldn't find her. Sat in the car waiting on her to come out, because he didn't want to leave her. But she literally had disappeared. And then also, in this magical world of the so-called targeted individuals, the animals don't appear to be animals. Because just like in the stories of, Hercules and Poseidon and things like that, a lot of times these these animals are actually spiritual beings who can transform into other objects and other beings. So these spiritual beings transforms into different things like eagles, hawks, ravens, cats, all these different things. And then this is the final story I'm going to tell about the man who was in the body, out of the body, that I cannot tell. One time this man was sitting looking out his window, and then of course they say now people can make earthquakes, but this particular time this man was sitting out his window, and all of a sudden a major earthquake hit. But the man was not scared. He just sat there and rolled through it. And then the man said, give him another one tomorrow. And then the next day came, another major earthquake happened. And then one time this man was sitting in his living room, because he was in the body, out of the body, I can't tell. Something ironic happened. Man, it was this major lightning storm. There's nothing unusual about a lightning storm, because the different segments of the bolts of light, you can see them strike. There's nothing unusual about that. But in this man's story, the man that's in the body, out of the body, I can't tell. This lightning storm happened in his living room, with the bolts and all that. He just sat there and looked at it. He said, "Oh, okay," and then he kept watching Netflix. Well, what can you say? This is the amazing, wonderful, magical world of a targeted individual. Shalom until next time.